How's everybody doing? I know there's some people already watching. Guys, thanks a ton for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to talking to everybody. So how we doing out there? So just a quick thing to start off with. This is the live stream is for a couple of different reasons. One is there's basically 2 more days in my Kickstarter campaign for my new instrumental album. It's my first solo album in 7 years, and I'm really excited about it. So 2 more days for that. But the other thing is I just haven't done a live stream in a long time, and I really just kind of want to hang out with you guys and just do some general Q&A. Any questions people have out there. I'll talk a little bit about new things on the channel coming up soon, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so this live stream is for both of those things. And honestly, it might run kind of long. I'm hoping enough people will get on here and ask me questions and stuff. We can go for quite a while and stuff, because I'm looking forward to answering questions and talking to everybody. So the first thing I want to say is, I know there's some people watching, or I saw some people in the chat there who have already become backers on the Kickstarter for the new album, and so to you, a huge thank you to the people who've signed up already. These crowdfunding things, it can be strangely challenging, I guess, and it's very stressful. I don't know if anybody watching has ever done a crowdfunding thing yourself, but it's this, you have this anxiety for like a month, right? For the whole time that this thing is running. And so to see it, consistently increase as the days go by, it's been really, encouraging and heartwarming for me and that kind of stuff. Because obviously my YouTube channel is up to like 170 something thousand subscribers right now, which is fantastic. But at the same time, as big as that audience is, getting that audience to then be interested in original music, it's a pretty tough thing sometimes. So I'm really very thankful to you guys out there who have already supported the Kickstarter. It really means a lot to me. So just to let you know how things are going on, I've got my camera here that I'll be talking to you on, and then over here I also have my computer where I can look at the chat and everything like that, and I can even also look at how the campaign is doing. It's funny, when I started like an hour ago, when I was getting this set up, I had, like, this morning, I think I had 200 backers on the Kickstarter, and then when I checked about an hour ago, it was like 199, like somebody backed out, right? And I was like, oh man, but now it's up to 201, so that's good stuff right there. Okay, so let me just, I'm over here, I'm looking at the comments over here, because the comments, they show up on my camera screen here, but then it disappears. So I'm gonna look over here just to see what the stuff is. So let's see here, guys. I'm scrolling back a little bit. Yeah, Carl Hunt says, signed up as soon as I saw the Kickstarter. Thank you so much, Carl. I really appreciate that. Cristobal wants to know, hi sir, how's the life going on? Life is, I really can't complain that much. Like I said, a little bit of anxiety just from running this Kickstarter thing. These are always a little stressful, but it's almost over, so that's good. What else we got here? There's another Carl Sylvester. Looks like he's gonna check in, and then he's gonna head out. He's got to work at 7:15. I hope you have a good day at work. Ron says he's getting ready to get the CD on the Kickstarter. I think you mean on the Kickstarter. Awesome, Ron. I would really appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, Pepper wants to know, am I going to demo something tonight. I might show you a few things if there's specific things people want to see, but I'm not going to do any kind of like a full-blown guitar demo or anything like that. I don't have anything like that planned. The main thing for this is just to answer your questions and to hang out with you guys. Okay, Neil, do I play all of these? Tough question. Do I play all of them? No, I don't play all of them. I play most of them, though. I mean, I've got my rocket launcher guitar over here. I don't play that one. It's dangerous, but but I play most of these. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, Sinister Fame wants to know, how is that HLK Hard Luck Kings guitar holding up? Thinking about getting one for myself. Well, I'm not sure if you remember the video I did on it. So just real quick to answer your question, I don't have that guitar anymore. I'm not sure what I did with it, but I don't have it anymore. Yeah, as I said in that original video, the guitar itself that I got was really pretty good. But there were just some things about the way the company did things that I kind of didn't really like. The shipping used to be very, very expensive. They've actually brought the shipping down now a little bit, so it's not quite so bad. But also there's like a lot of these sort of like add-on things that you can buy, and it's the price that the guitar is like advertised at. It's hard to actually pay that price. Like you have to forego all of the like a setup, like you have to get it without a setup, and otherwise they charge you a setup fee and that kind of stuff. Anyway, and it used to be even worse. It used to be like you couldn't not do this stuff. Like they would require you to buy these extra things, which is really weird. It's kind of misleading. But they don't do that anymore, just to be clear. But anyway, that was kind of my big complaint. Although, all that being said, the guitar that I got when I bought one, it was a good guitar. It was a nice, solid, fun guitar. Okay, I'm going to scroll back here, go through some more questions. Yeah, guys, I really appreciate all these compliments on the channel. It's always great for me to hear that you enjoy the videos and that kind of stuff, so I really appreciate that. Question here about I should make a video about my current guitar collection. Be fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of cool. I mean, I did one that was like a top 6 a while back, and I could do a new one of those. Maybe I could do like a top 11 or something like that. For me to just do the entire collection, I mean, I've got stuff in storage, and I got to clean out the closet and that kind of thing. I mean, plus honestly, there's just a bunch of stuff that's just not that interesting. So I think I would have to narrow it down to like, I don't know, maybe the 20 coolest guitars I have or something like that. And so, oops, that's the wrong one. Here's a nice practical question. What's a great recording app for Windows? I use Cubase, Steinberg Cubase. That's what I use for doing all of my recording and that kind of stuff. I really like it. It's great not just for recording, but it's also really good if you're doing sequencing. So if you're programming drums or if you're programming MIDI parts and things like that, Cubase is a really good program for that. And they don't pay me to say that. It's just the program that I really like to use. Let's see what else we have here. Dusty wants to know, have I played the new Epiphone Les Paul Prophecy? No. Well, I've played an old Epiphone Les Paul Prophecy, like from like 10 years ago. That was pretty cool. Haven't played a new one. John wants to know, what was my first guitar, a decent one, first like decent guitar. First decent guitar was a Epiphone SG Special. So it was like the single pickup, single humbucker SG Epiphone version. Great guitar, and you know what? I loaned it to somebody, and never got it back. So there we go. Somebody's asking, what's the story with the 27 fret Edwards guitar? So you're talking about this beauty right here. 27 frets. Look at that headstock. Gnarly. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, Edwards is a company like it's one of the ESP brands. So Edwards is to ESP what Epiphone is to Gibson, kind of. And the thing is about Edwards is really a brand that's only sold like retail selling outside of the United States. It's kind of like a Japanese domestic market brand. They have a couple other brands that I can the names escape me right now, but it's like, over here we have ESP and LTD. They have ESP and LTD and Edwards and like a couple other brands. So that guitar, I think I bought it through Reverb or eBay or something like that, used, right? And it was shipped to me from Japan. And it's a really, really cool guitar. It's aside from 27 frets and a very, the long vine inlay and all this abalone binding and stuff. Look at this neck through multi-piece neck. And also they masked off the neck here. So this is gloss and this is satin. And then it's got Seymour Duncan pickups with the hot rails in the neck. Floyd Rose, and it's an OFR. It's the Floyd Rose original. You can tell by the sharp corners on the saddles. And yeah, it's an awesome guitar. Ebony fretboard, very nice. They're not cheap guitars, but they're not super expensive either. They're around, like if you find one on eBay, I don't think they make them new anymore, but if you find it like a used one on eBay, that usually costs around $1,200 in there, like a nice Schecter or something like that, right? But yeah, that's a great guitar. So I'm going to look back over here, guys, and answer some more questions. And in a few minutes, I'm going to ask for your help because I've got some notes here about my new album, and there's a couple of things I want your input on here, right, that I may or may not do with the new album. But let me answer a few more questions here. So Chris Digital says here, I hope you reach your funding goal. I did my album 2 years ago on my own and made a whopping $7 in 2 years. Is that $7 profit? Because that's not bad. That's not bad if you made $7 profit, like you paid for the recording and all of your expenses and you made money. Making any money at all on an album these days is really pretty difficult. Okay. So, yeah, you guys like the Edwards, right? It's a beautiful guitar. That brand in general makes a lot of really, really cool guitars. They're just hard to get. You have to buy them, they have to be imported essentially. Okay. Oh, you answered there. Chris answered $7 profit. Hey, $7 in the black profit, that's nothing, hey, congratulations. I mean, just that you didn't lose money on the album, that's a win right there, I think. Okay. Oh, RRD, Randy Rhodes D, right, is asking, how many Rhodes V's do you have? So I've got 3 of them, and that includes the new one, right? The black and red one that I just did the video on that like a week ago. they're all like JS series, you know. Although the white one that has the stripes and everything on it now, right there. I've done a bunch of upgrades and stuff. I mean, I made a whole video series about it, but I've changed the pickups and the bridge and the nut and even the electronics, all the pots. I changed everything, and it's a pretty awesome guitar. So, let me see if there's any other burning questions here. And guys, I'm going to come back to the questions. I'll answer a bunch of, I want to answer as many questions as I can on this live stream here. Let's see. Gary says that he just backed the album. Let's refresh this and see how we're doing here. Up to 205 backers. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. This is awesome. I think we've added 4 backers just in the live stream so far. So it's funny. When I'm switching tabs here on my computer, I keep switching to the wrong tab. I have someone else's live stream open right now because they're going to launch a really big rocket in about 5 hours down in Florida, and I'm kind of keeping track of this. They're going to try and launch it. They've already tried 2 times and it didn't work. They're going to try it again, but I've got this tab up here. Anyway, that's later on. This in 5 hours. Okay, so guys, I have a few questions that I want to ask you guys. Looks like we've got about 90 people watching. So right now. So I wanna ask you guys something. So this new album, Titanium Rain, right? And I've got a link for the Kickstarter and everything that talks all about it down in the video description below. My question is, though, this is a full-length instrumental shred album. Do you guys want me to have any guest appearances, any guest people on the album? Sometimes it's nice for a musician to just do, just have me be the main person. It makes it easier to get done and this kind of stuff. But at the same time, there's a lot of great guitar players out there, or even other musicians. And do you want me to maybe reach out to some people and see if I can get some? I mean, I'm sure there's people I could talk to that would guest on the album. But do you want that? Do you want it to be a little bit more of a, not quite a collaboration album, but just sort of a shred guitar extravaganza, like involving multiple guitar players and that kind of stuff? Would you like that? Or do you just want pure Guitar Max? And it won't insult me if you say, no, you need some guest people. That's fine. Tell me what you're thinking about this. And also, I can't promise, but is there anybody that you guys would really like to hear on the album that you think would be good? And keep in mind, this is like an old school shred guitar album. So if it's maybe like, like an acoustic, somebody who's known for acoustic stuff or something, that might not work. But just what do you guys think? Okay, I'm looking over here at the responses. Let's see here. Marty Friedman or Lenny Kravitz? That would be cool. I don't know if I could get Lenny Kravitz. Maybe Marty Friedman, in a moment of weakness, I could get him to agree to it. Ola England. Somebody else is saying Ola. Kiko Lareo. And somebody's saying Pure Guitar Max. And somebody's saying maybe a guest on one song. Okay. Stu Ham. Okay. That could be cool. Yeah, and Darren is saying no guests. This should be all about you. Okay. Well, so there's an interesting thing here. So a lot of you are suggesting guests that are YouTubers, right? I mean, some people are saying like, well, no, I mean, even he's a YouTuber. I mean, yeah, some, I guess Marty Friedman's not really known as a YouTuber, but like some of these, a lot of these names are. I mean, Ola is definitely a YouTuber. Like he's known as that. I mean, Ben, somebody said Ben Eller, I think. Rusty Cooley, man, Rusty Cooley, man, what happened to Rusty Cooley? I hate to say that, but no, I mean nothing happened to him. I mean he's still doing stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, I would love to get Rusty Cooley to do a guest. I would love to do like an album that was like 2005 shred guitar or something like that, and get like what is it like Mark Ferrari and Rusty Cooley and a bunch of those like early 2000s shredder guys. Maybe I'll just do like one song like that. That would be pretty cool. And it'll have that what's the Roland DR8? What's the drum machine that Ingve uses? That has a very specific sound, very specific early 2000s drum machine sound. Anyway, somebody's suggesting Sophie Lloyd. That'd be funny. Maybe I could get like I could do a track where Sophie Lloyd, I get like Sophie and like Nita Strauss on the same track, and then I don't even play on it. Right? It's just them. That'd be funny. Yeah, somebody's saying I should get Danzig to do some vocals. I for a while I had an idea to do a song, and I was going to call it "I'm Being Framed for a Crime That Danzig Committed" or something. I was trying to do some kind of a Danzig joke. I think now that my hair's longer, I don't get as many Danzig comments as I used to. Let me take a second and talk about the hair thing. So depending on how long my hair is, I get compared to different people. When it's when it's like this short, I got Professor Snape, and then when it's a little longer, I got Danzig or Tommy Wiseau, and then occasionally I get like and then when the hair got longer, then I got like Peter Steele, and there was some guy on a TV show that was I forget what it was. Anyway, but most of that stuff has kind of gone away. It's pretty rare that I get a Danzig comment these days. Not nearly as much as it used to be. Every day I was getting Danzig, like multiple Danzig comments every day in like 2019, 2018, that kind of stuff. Now it's one a week, something like that. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I think what I'm leaning towards here, based off of these comments, and guys, I'm making this decision based off of what you're saying. I hope you understand the gravity of the situation here. But I think basically what I'm seeing here is that maybe I should have a few, like maybe two or three guests on the album, and like not a guest on every song or anything like that, but maybe two or three songs with some guests on the album. So I'll do something like that. I can't tell you exactly what I'm going to do because I don't know, and I don't know who's going to say yes to it. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Oh, somebody's saying off for Holland. Yeah, Yeah, I was super bummed that people didn't watch that more people didn't watch my video. I was talking about this guy offer, he released this incredible shred album, like awesome old school shredding called Adrenalized, and I did a video about it, and unfortunately not enough, not very many people watched the video, which is always kind of when I try to tell everybody about what someone else is doing, and then, I mean, it brought him some attention and that kind of stuff, and I think some people checked it out and everything. That was good, but it's never, I mean, I do a video on a Chibson and like 100,000 people watch it, right? It's like never quite the same. Okay, anyway, guys, so that gives me a lot of good ideas and stuff, and honestly, I'll go back and look at these in case I missed a really good suggestion or something like that. So if you think of something, go ahead and put it in the chat right there, or in the comment section, whatever you guys want. So, guess on the album. I think somebody mentioned, aside from the Danzig stuff, I think somebody mentioned like, hey, maybe you could get this singer to be on it. Guys, no singers. I don't want to deal with singers. I've been in a lot of bands. I've done a lot of recording. It just, whatever you're doing, you add a singer into it, and it makes it like 4 times as difficult. I'm not saying that that's because of the people who are the singers. It's just, it complicates the recording process, everything. So no singers, sorry. Maybe I'll do like a talk box thing, or like a vocoder or something like that, but no singing. And please don't ask me to sing. People ask me to sing, they ask me to sing until they hear me sing, and then they ask me to stop singing. That's what happens with me. All right. So let's take another look. Okay, guys. We're still at 2,000, not 2,000. We're still at 205 backers right now. 2,005, that'd be amazing. Now, I just want to make things super clear to anybody who's watching and they're thinking about going over to the Kickstarter and becoming a backer. I don't, I'm not asking for, you throw down $100 or $150 or anything like that. If you can come up with $20 for the Kickstarter, $20, that gets you the physical album. It gets you 2 autographed 4x6 cards and some guitar picks, and of course you get a digital copy of the album as well. And anybody, all backers, right? Anybody who backs it gets their name in the liner notes as a backer. The other thing, and this is really important, if you become a backer of the Kickstarter, okay, the physical version of the album that you are going to be receiving is exclusive to the Kickstarter backers. So yeah, the album is going to be released later on after the Kickstarter people get it, but the artwork will, all the packaging will be different, all that stuff. But the version that is through the Kickstarter is only for the Kickstarter people. And right now, only 205 people are going to get this very exclusive version of Titanium Rain. Okay, so think about that, right? And here's the deal. How much longer do we have here? It's counting down the hours. 63 hours to go left in the Kickstarter campaign. And once it's done, that's it. It's over with. You can't come like next month or something like, hey, let me get on the Kickstarter. It doesn't work like that. And it's not up to me. That's just how they run Kickstarter. It's, once you start the campaign, it's only for a certain amount of time, and you can't change it once you start it, right? All right. Okay, so let's do a little bit of channel news or preview stuff and that kind of thing. So there's 2 things I want to tell you about that's coming up soon. One is my guitar fetish GFS parts guitar, right? It's a two-part video. I already released the first one. I was showing you all the different parts that I had, my pickups, the neck, the body. It's a pre-painted body, this kind of thing. My whole thing is I didn't want to spend a bunch of time like routing out a body and sanding and all this stuff. And plus it's, I'm probably going to mess it up because I don't do stuff like that very often. So I really liked the guitar fetish stuff, because you just bolt the parts together. And everybody's like, when's part two? Did you finish the guitar? This kind of thing. Okay, so I have simply been busy with a lot of other videos and also running this Kickstarter campaign. But the guitar is finished. The guitar is finished. And it came out really, really cool. And so the part two video, which is going to show the finished guitar, plus I'm going to be talking about the build and, the different tweaks I did to it and that kind of stuff. That's going to be coming up very soon. I think it's going to be released this next week, basically. And yeah, like I said, I think people will be really impressed with I think it's a cool guitar. So I think you guys will think it's cool too. Okay, so the other thing, I want to tell you about an interview that I did recently. I interviewed another guitar player. And everybody's doing Zoom or Skype or whatever. Everybody's doing video interviews lately. I didn't do that, right? Because this guitar player, I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'll give you some hints, though. This guitar player just released a really big anthology album recently. And I'm like, this guy lives here in LA. I live in Los Angeles. I'm like, I know this guy lives in LA. And so I contacted him and I said, hey, can we sit down and, let me interview you and we'll talk about the new anthology and what you've been up to and this kind of thing. And let's get together in person because we can. And that's just way better to have a conversation like that rather than through, Zoom, that kind of stuff. And he said, yes. And so I met with him and we did this interview, and this interview it's like a 2-hour interview. So like all together, I think came out to be about 2 hours. And this guitar player, it's one of my favorite guitar players. He's been around a long time, like since the 80s and this kind of stuff. Total shredder and really, really good. Just fantastic guitar player. And a guy that has kept busy, right? This isn't like Vito Bratta or somebody like that, but this is like, a guy who's been consistent. And so we talked about a lot about guitar technique, how he does certain things on the guitar. We talked about the album, these different albums. We talked about his anthology and, these different singers that he's worked with and this kind of stuff. And yeah, so this is coming up very, very soon. It's taking me a long time to put it all together just because the interview is so long. I don't think I'm going to release it in one giant video. But I don't know, maybe like, well, I don't want to put out like 10 different videos of this interview either. So maybe like, I don't know, 2 or 3 different versions. Oh, great. Now we got the scammers in the chat section. I'm sorry, guys. That brings up an interesting thing. Guys, I want to apologize for all of these really annoying, I'm trying to, choose my words carefully. I want to apologize for all these lame scammers that have been in the comments sections lately. I hate this stuff. It's all the text me on Telegram scammers, right? So first of all, for anybody watching right now, I'm not on Telegram. And if I ever do a giveaway, I've done some stuff in the past. If I ever do a contest or a giveaway, I am never going to ask you for money, ever. Okay? I'm not going to say, hey, you won this thing and now pay for the shipping. Like, I'm never going to do that. And that's how this scam works, right? Is that, they've been ripping off my avatar. That's the only thing they use. The account name is not even, the account name is usually like text me on Telegram and there's like an arrow, right? But they use my avatar and then they'll post in my comment section and it's like, hey, congratulations, you won a free guitar. text me on Telegram and I'll send you the guitar. And then people do it and they say, hey, yeah, great. You won this guitar. It's really nice. If you can just cover the shipping costs, then we'll send it to you. And the shipping costs are like $50, $75, $80. In some cases, I think they're trying to get like 100 and something, 125, $150 for shipping and handling fees. And of course, it's all complete BS. They take your money, they don't send you anything. And it's impersonating me. And guys, look, first of all, number one, I know for a fact that people have gotten scammed on this. People have fallen for this and gotten scammed. People contact me later on, like after the fact, like, hey, I've been waiting 2 weeks and I didn't get my guitar. And then they get in contact with the real me, and then I hear about this stuff later on. And it's terrible. And I really hate this stuff. So here's the thing, these accounts that they make on there, every new video, after a few hours, there'll be an account on there doing this scam. Right away, I go to the account. If you go to the channel of the account, you go all the way to the About section under the channel. Down on the bottom, there's a little flag. You click on the flag. It gives you the option to report the account. So that's the first thing I do. But I'm saying you guys can do that too. And if it helps a lot if other people go and report these accounts. So I report the account. I say they're impersonating me. I tell it's a Telegram scammer. Then I go back, then I block that account so they can't post anymore. And then sometimes I even still have to go through and delete the individual comments. But as soon as you block the account, they make another one, and they make another one, and they make multiple accounts in the same day with the same comment. And so you have to go through and like block. And I'm trying to, manage this as good as I can. But it's like these guys are just really dedicated to their craft, I guess you could say. But, I just wish that they could, get a real job and try to make a positive contribution to society. Well, I guess they don't want to. That's not how they want to be remembered. Or maybe they just don't care about other people. I think that's the big problem. So anyway, guys, again, please accept my apologies for all of the scammers and stuff, and just know that I'm doing my best. I'm trying to get rid of this stuff as much as possible. There's another way I've been working on to get rid of it, but I don't want to say that publicly because they might hear it and then figure out how to work around it. Anyway, so that's about it. Okay. Let me do another quick check over here on the Kickstarter, and then I want to answer some more questions. All right. We're cooking with gas, guys. We're up to 208 backers now. Yes, thank you so much. So I think we've gained 8 backers just through this live stream so far. So thank you. Thank you very, very much. Okay. Oh, Wayne from Metal and Iron is in the chat, and he has a question. Max, what are your standard amp settings? Chords always sound crunchy but smooth, and leads sound cutting but round. Sort of Dave Murray-esque, but more modern. How do you get that sound, man? Well, first of all, Wayne, welcome, and always great to talk with you. I hope you're doing great. So, to answer your question, I think if you've watched you have watched a lot of my videos, but just for the other people out there, if you've watched very many of my videos, my demo videos, reviewing guitars and so forth, you probably know that I like to use my Fender GTX 100 amplifier. So, the thing about my demos, a lot of the time it doesn't sound like a stereotypical Fender amp, right? but it is a Fender amp. But the reason for that is that the GTX 100 is, of course, like a digital modeling type amp. And so my high gain sound, typically, not always, but 75% of the time, my high gain sound is Fender's model of like a Marshall JCM 800 with a little bit of a boost on there, and then sometimes I use a stereo delay, long stereo delay, and sometimes a little bit of reverb. And I want to stress that all of the effects I use are from the amplifier itself. I'm not adding any effects later on, unless, of course, I'm reviewing an effect thing or something like that. But that's basically the high gain sound that I'm using on the demo. Now, sometimes I do use other sounds, and it's either a completely different amplifier, maybe, or a different model on the GTX 100. But yeah, like at 75% of the time, the majority of the time, when I do my high gain settings, it's that amplifier and that setting. Let's see here. The other thing is, I just lost my train of thought here. It's live, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. I did a video a while back where I was talking about like the piece of gear that I've used the most, this kind of thing. And that was that amplifier. I mean, I use that amplifier all the time, not just for my demos, but when I get a new piece of gear, like a pedal or something, and I want, like, I'll set the amp up just crystal clean, just completely clean, because I want to hear how the pedal sounds just on its own, and I'll still use that amplifier for it. And sometimes I use it for recording. It's just a very easy amp to get a good sound out of. In all honesty, there's a lot of things on the amp, a lot of features in the amp that I don't use, but that's, the things I do use on the amp I really, really like, and it's very easy to use. All right, here. A few other amp questions here. Pepper is asking, have I used the Spark amp? If so, have you uploaded any of your settings? Yes, I did use the Spark amp when it first came out. Great amp for using at home, and even, I think, recording and that kind of stuff. Not really an amp that you're going to take to a gig and gig with, right? You could, but So my one of my problems now is I have so much. I mean, I have piles of stuff, and there's stuff in the closet, and there's stuff down by the garage, and there's stuff in the storage. I mean, I've got way too much stuff, and so I'm trying to, like, if I have a piece of gear for a while, like 6 months or a year, and I don't use it, I'm like, well, I probably shouldn't keep that, because I need the space for other things and that kind of stuff. And that's what happened with the Spark. It's a cool amp, a lot of cool features, sounds good, but I just ended up not using it that much. Somebody is asking, have I gigged with a GTX? Yes, I have, absolutely, and it worked great. I've done I did like a bar gig with it, and then I also did a sort of not quite a clinic, but exhibition type of gig, I guess, with some other guitar players a while back. It was like recorded for video to be released later on, that kind of stuff. It was for Go DPS. I did a jam with some guys, and I used the GTX on that. Okay, here. It's funny. There's a question here. Do I have any Warlocks? Do I have any BC Rich Warlocks? Not currently, but I have owned at least 2 at least 2, maybe 3 BC Rich Warlocks. And what's really kind of funny, I don't have it here. I wish I had this picture to show you. But my high school senior photo, okay, I am posing with a white BC Rich Warlock. 18 years old. That's my senior photo, my high school yearbook. Yeah. So I should have one, right? Yeah, after all that. Okay, here. Oh, I've seen a few questions. Like Joe is asking here, do you still have the Bernie LP with the Floyd and the Sustainer? No, I don't have that anymore. That was a very, very cool guitar. I'm not exactly sure why I sold it, but I haven't had it for a few years. I sold it. Oh, I think it was because I started getting into the Schecter, because that has the Sustainer. The Bernie has the Sustainer. And I started getting into the Schecter stuff, and I got a couple of Schecters with the Sustainers, and then I'm like, I don't need all these Sustainer guitars. And so I think I sold the Bernie. But the Bernie was really cool. Also, the one I had was a little bit, I bought it used, and it was a little bit rough around the edges, I think. So I think at some point I was like, I think I'll sell this, and maybe I'll get another Bernie that's in better condition. And then by that time I had the Schecters, and so I just kind of forgot about it. But it was a really cool guitar. Okay, here. So I'm just looking at these. Let me get some more questions here. Oh, so somebody watched the God Warrior remix over on the Remix Bros channel. That was a lot of fun. I don't know how many people who watch my channel actually went over and watched that, but there are these guys. They've got a channel called the Remix Bros, and they take like news clips, and most of it is like political speeches and that kind of stuff, and they can change the timing on it to go with like like a trap house beat or something like that, and they come up with these remix tracks, and I it's a guilty pleasure. I love that stuff. And then I did a collaboration with them, and I did a guitar part for one of the tracks, and it was a lot of fun. It's called God Warrior Remix. Yeah, Remix Bros God Warrior Remix. Really good. Let's see here. Somebody's asking, do I still have the Fender Boxer? I'm not sure what you mean. Boxer. Oh, yeah. Daniel is asking about the Metaltronics amp. Okay, let me tell you about this amplifier. So I'm a huge Akira Takasaki fan. And I saw those classic late 80s, like Soldier of Fortune era loudness Akira Takasaki promo photos where he's standing in front of the wall of the Metaltronics amps. I'm like, oh, that's so cool, man. I want one of those. And I finally found, I've had this amp for a long time. I finally found one. And this is back when I was doing like solo gigs and stuff. I had like a live solo band. And I'm like, this is going to be great. I got the amp. So two funny things happened. I got this amplifier. I brought it into the rehearsal studio at the time. I set it on top of my existing amplifier, and it broke the amplifier that I already had. Like the raw energy of the Metaltronics amp just like killed my amplifier, like as soon as I set it on top of it. So then I used this amplifier at a couple gigs, and this was towards the end, or I kind of dissolved my live solo band back in like, I don't know, 2015 or something like that. And so I used this amp, the Metaltronics M1000, at some of my solo gigs. And then I was like, yeah, I want to take a break from, this band project. And so I didn't really do much with this amp, and it sat for a while. And then when I finally turned it back on, it didn't work anymore. Something went wrong. So the reason I have not demoed this amplifier is because it has some issues. So it needs to be fixed. And honestly, like Lee Jackson, he's still out there. Like he's still doing amp stuff. So maybe I can get a hold of him. Maybe he could fix the amplifier or service it. I don't think it's anything that's, I don't think it's like anything's really destroyed or anything like that. I think it just has, a couple of components have to be refreshed or something like that. So that's why I haven't done a proper demo of the amplifier. But I can tell you though, when it was working, this amplifier is so loud. This is the loudest it's the loudest 100 watt amplifier, like the loudest guitar amplifier I've ever heard in my life. It could be one of those perception things, like with your ears. Like if you actually have a dB meter and that kind of stuff, maybe it's not actually louder, but just the frequencies it uses makes it seem louder. But this is like, it's shockingly loud. So yeah. Okay, so that's the Metaltronics. Let me see what else here. Fender Boxer. Fender Boxer is made in Japan Strat. I have I have my HM Strat. Is that what you mean? I love this guitar. Is that what you mean? But yeah, I definitely. That's one of my favorites right there. Okay, what else we got here? John, love reviews of affordable guitars. Inspiring. Thank you very much for the super chat, John. Oh, the Review Shack says, I'd like to find a Sovtek MiG 5100 head. Yeah, I would too. That would be pretty cool. The other amplifier that I have that's a little strange is I have one of the Fender Metalhead, the Fender MH500. That's another like Rusty Cooley era head, right? It's like an early 2000s thing. And it's a solid state head, but it's like 550 watts. And it's like it's made out of like stainless steel and this kind of stuff. It's crazy. There's some matching cabinets that go with it. I don't have the cabs. I don't have the 4x12 cabs. I just have one of the heads. Let's see here. 100% Peanuts Strat. So you're talking about the 80s Japanese Strats. I don't have one. But I've never had one. I would like to have. I've heard they're fantastic instruments, but I've never even played one. So Joe Sergeant Prima is asking, did I play out of a JCM 800 Marshall stack before? So I think, are you asking that in reference to when I was talking about the Fender amp model? So yes, I have played out of a real JCM 800. I went through a phase where I was trying out all the different Marshall amps. I had an 800, I had a 900, I had one of the original dual super leads. And I love the sound of those amps. My only complaint with the classic my only complaint with the classic Marshall heads is that they kind of have one sound to them. And if you want that one sound, There's nothing better than that. But it's hard to get, it's hard to get a different sound out of the amplifier. I don't know if that makes sense or not. All right. So guys, we are coming up on 1 hour right now. We're up to 209 backers. Awesome. So we've gained about 9 backers on the Kickstarter. And guys, I've seen some comments. They go by kind of quick and then they get lost in the list here. I know some people are backing the Kickstarter right now. And guys, thank you so much. I'm sorry if I missed being able to thank you personally on here, but I really, really appreciate this stuff. Like I talked about a little bit in the beginning, these crowdfunding campaigns, they're strangely anxiety inducing, because it's like, oh, is it going to make it? Is it not going to make it? If it doesn't get funded, if it fails, everybody's going to see it, this kind of thing. So I really, really, really thank you guys, everybody that's been contributing to it. Let's see here. Oh, so Daniel, yeah. Can I talk a little bit about your new work? So you're talking about the new album, right? Well, I want to restate here for the new people coming in. The upcoming instrumental album, full-length instrumental shred guitar album, Titanium Rain, not rain like falling, but rain like raining, over something. That didn't make any sense, but anyway, don't worry about the name. So this is my first new solo album in 7 years. The last one I did was Visions of Speed and Thunder back in 2015. And that album had a whole bunch of different stuff on it. It had some vocal tracks, it had some instrumental tracks. You have these different albums at different times in your life, and that represented what I was doing back then. And that was kind of the stuff that I was playing with when I had like the live solo band. And so for the past, basically since 2015, I have been focused, in terms of guitar and music, I've been focused almost exclusively on my YouTube stuff. That's certainly been my top priority. And it's been great. The channel has grown a lot. And since 2019, doing YouTube is my full-time job. And the timing worked out great because obviously in 2020, everything kind of, the world went crazy. And so, but I was already working on my own in 2019. So that was a very fortunate timing, I guess, for me. But this whole time, it's been like, what's the next video? Do the next video. What do people want to see? This kind of thing, producing content that people are going to find valuable and that kind of stuff. That's how I always try to think about things. What can I give the audience that they value? That's how I think about it. And so here and there, I've worked on new songs and worked on new tracks. And I think I've released maybe 3 singles over the past few years. But I have been working on all of these different, like, oh, that's a cool idea. That's a cool idea. That's a cool idea. But I've never dedicated that big chunk of time that I need to take those ideas and fully develop them and finish them and then put them on an album and, do the artwork, the packaging, and the whole 9 yards, right? And so that's what this album is about. That's what Titanium Rain is about. It's about taking all this inspiration and everything that I've learned over the past 7 years as a guitar player, putting it into one blistering shred guitar album. And I want you guys to know, okay, how I'm thinking about this. I'm not going to pull any punches on this album. This is not going to be a music school metal fusion album or something like that. This is like a no holds barred shred album. I'm going to play at 110% on this album. Okay. all this stuff about like, well, you know, you have to play fast and where's the feeling and this kind of stuff. No, 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 no. Yes, there's going to be feeling. There's going to be melody, right? There's going to be all these things that make a song stick with you. But there is going to be some blistering, face-melting, mind-numbing guitar playing on this album. Titanium Rain. The notes made out of titanium are going to be raining down on you. And I don't know if you're going to survive after listening to the album. I can't guarantee on the creative journey that I'm going on with this album. Okay? All right. So, okay, let's see here. What other questions do we have? Joe is saying my album will be called Aluminum Regime. I like that. That's good. You know, there's a B-17 called Aluminum Overcast, which I've always liked that name. Okay. By the way, no, I'm not. Oh, I do have a tab. Yeah. No, guys, I'm not sponsored by Tab. Not sponsored by Tab at all. Okay. Yeah. What is Tab? That's, you know, it's guitar notation, right? Okay. Okay, let's see. What other questions do we have here? Thanks, Max, for all you do. Gene, Callie. Gene, I see your comments a lot. Thank you very much for stopping by the live stream. I really appreciate it, and I always appreciate your comments. So, by the way, there's some people saying that they like the flying videos over on my Heavy Metal Horizons channel. And thank you very much. I really like those videos too. I took my mother-in-law flying recently. And my wife and my mother-in-law. And I flew them to Catalina Island here in California. And it was a smashing success. I didn't crash. Nobody fell out of the airplane. And considering that I had my mother-in-law sitting next to me, my landing was, I think, rather good. So it's high pressure situation. Okay, so let's see. Oh, somebody's asking on the album, what bass am I going to use? I'm going to use my, it's over there, my AIO JB4. My AIO jazz style bass. Love that bass. It's great. I've already done some recording with it, and it really sounds good because you can blend the pickups really nicely. I love it. Okay. There was a question. I've got to scroll back here and see what this. Oh, Keith. Hey, Keith, how you doing, man? Keith always has comments and stuff. DS1 or Tube Screamer? DS1. Yep. Not that I think Tube Screamers are bad. I don't think they're bad. I think they're good. But I prefer, the Boss stuff, the DS1 or the SD1. Oh, yeah, and Wolf, B-17 Lost in Texas. Yeah, man, I've seen all those videos and stuff from over the weekend. That's really, it's tragic on so many levels. At least they didn't know, didn't have time to be scared, right? I don't want to talk about that now. That's depressing. Okay. Oh, Kiesel or Steinberger? Kiesel or Steinberger? I don't know, man. I mean, obviously the Kiesel stuff is, well, they don't make only, they don't make just headless guitars, right? I know them as Carvin, right? I would love to get like a Carvin Ultra V, or what is it, the V220? But give me a headstock, I'm not. There have been some really cool headless guitars that I've become a fan of, but I still like to have a headstock on my guitars. An old Steinberger would be pretty cool though, like the White Lion one. Vito Bratta again. Vito Bratta, second time he's come up in conversation. Let's see here. Okay, guys. So let's check the Kickstarter again here. Oh, 211. 211. Boom. 2 more people since I checked last time. Guys, thank you so much. This is awesome. Thank you. Really good. Really good. Great turnout and great questions you guys are asking. Guys, hit me with some more questions here. Okay? Anything you want. Now, I just finished my tab, right? Hit me with some more questions. Chris says, hello from Washington State. Hello. Chris, what area are you in? I grew up in Woodinville, Washington, which is east of Seattle, a little bit east. Jesus Christ wants to know, what is my favorite album? What an impossible question. Chris, okay, Bremerton, Washington. They have a Navy base, I think, in Bremerton. It's right on, Bremerton is right on on the Puget Sound there. Oh, and Carl was from Spokane. Nice. I did some bodybuilding competitions in Spokane back in the day. I kind of like Spokane. I haven't actually spent that much time there, but it's like you're driving through the desert and then this town comes out of nowhere. Mark is from Tacoma. We got a lot of Washington people in the chat here. That's cool. What was your question? Oh, hold on, let me look back here. Favorite HSH setup? Well, to be honest, I don't really like, HSH hum single hum. I don't really like that pickup arrangement because I don't like middle pickups. I've talked about this a lot in videos, but I always hit them when I'm picking, and then I go, and you get like noise. And you could argue that that's a problem with my picking technique, but I just I just don't use the pickup. When I get a single hum, I always adjust the pickup like as low as possible. That way I don't hit. Like my this is a great example. My HM Strat. It's got the middle pickup. Look how low that is. Look at it. It's all the way down. It's as low as I could get it. That way it's out of the way. Okay. Oh, Wolf. Work on warships in Bremerton. There you go. Sweet. Okay, here. Oh, Joe. I can't. Joe wants to know, hey, Max, what is the current best value guitar with an original Floyd Rose made in Germany? Anything since the Sawtooth that I reviewed? No. My answer was going to be that sawtooth guitar. Okay, I have it in a case right now, but no, that is, to my knowledge, that is the best value. That's the least expensive guitar with an OFR made in Germany, original Floyd Rose. And I want to tell you guys, I took the bridge out of the guitar and looked at it carefully, and it is a real made in Germany bridge. Everybody's like, oh, maybe it's a 1000, and they just saying it, it's like, no, it's not a 1000 series. It's the German made one. And I will tell you, it's not exactly insider information, but Go DPS Sawtooth is going to be doing a big like Black Friday thing coming up, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think that guitar is going to be on sale for 50% off, half off. So I think you can, with that sale, I think you can get that guitar for less than $300, which is ridiculous. If you try to buy just the bridge, it'll cost you that much. I'm actually thinking about buying a second one because it's going to be such a good deal. Okay. What else we got? Okay. Looking at other questions here. Oh, here's a cool question. Wolf wants to know, Passion and Warfare by Steve Vai was my first instrumental guitar album. What was yours? What was my first instrumental album? That's a really good question. First instrumental album. Man. I don't know. I mean, I don't really remember, to be honest, because I listened to a lot of instrumental songs way before I got an entire instrumental album. I want to say it might have been a Tony McAlpine album. Like one of the Shrapnel Tony McAlpine albums. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly. Okay. What else we got here? Oh, Rhodes. Oh, that's a kind of a fun question. Can we see your pick collection? I don't have it handy like right here, but I do have some cool picks. I don't really collect picks like that much, but I've just over the years I've been in situations where I've been able to get a pick from people and that kind of stuff. I've got an Akira Takasaki pick that he like from a show that was cool. I've got a pick from Kristen Pelletieri. I've got a Dave Minichetti pick from YNT. I've got some stuff that I'm pretty stoked about. Yeah. Okay. What else we got here, guys? Oh, somebody's asking, can I suggest a budget Telecaster? What do you consider budget? I'm going to grab this right here. I've got one right here that I reviewed a little while ago. And this is, the cable's hooked up here. So, this is the Eert T380. I love this guitar. I play this all the time, like as a practice guitar and stuff. It's got the roasted maple neck. It's got the stainless steel frets with the rounded ball end. It's got the humbuckers that you can split. I love it. And a three-way, a shredder control setup. And the belly cut and the arm cut. I mean, this is a really fun guitar. And how much are these? Like $339, something like that. Yeah, this is a great guitar. Not exactly a traditional Telecaster. I think, that's a good choice. Guys, we are so spoiled. I mean, there are so many awesome guitars that are like in that $300 range right now. We live in an incredible time, for guitars. Okay. Let's see here. What other questions we have? Oh, that's cool. Somebody's asking opinion on the J metal band Anthem. I really like Anthem. I'm gonna say Anthem is my third favorite Japanese metal band. If I had to choose my number one, it would be Loudness. Second is Galnerius, the power metal band. Third would be Anthem. Great band. Oh, the Bald Shredder is in the chat. And he's saying, bring back Sir Guitars a Lot. I think Sir Guitars a Lot will make a guest appearance on the channel at some point in the future. Also, Ralph Hitachikuchi may make another guest appearance on the channel. Maybe I could get both of them on the same video. That would be really incredible. The thing about Sir Guitars a Lot is like the audience, it was really a love-hate relationship between the audience and Sir Guitars a Lot. Some people were like, it's too much cringe, get him off the channel. And then some people, like yourself, I believe, absolutely loved Sir Guitars a Lot. But right now he's off fighting battles in distant lands and that kind of stuff. But he might come back at some point and reclaim his throne, you could say. Yeah. Okay. Keith is asking a fun question. What was your most disappointing guitar? My most disappointing guitar. My most disappointing guitar. Well, I think my my crazy double neck guitar that I ordered from China was a pretty big disappointment because it took forever to arrive. It took months and months to get to me, and then it arrived and it had like so many problems. That was a big disappointment. I still have it, but it's wall art. It's been on the wall for I don't know how long. It's one of those things where it's like to fix that guitar and make it really good, it's a big project. I'd have to replace all the hardware. And it's a double neck, so it's a lot of hardware. Replace all the hardware, pickups, new wiring, all that stuff. And then it's like, well, when I'm all done with it, it would be pretty cool, but I don't know, I just can't quite justify spending the time on it right now. Yeah. Maybe I could team up with somebody else and I could send the guitar to them and then they would never finish it. I'll never see it again. Maybe I could do that. I don't know if I sound pessimistic there. Hmm. Okay, here. Oh, big helicopter flying over. I thought they found me for a second there. Oh, and Bald Shredder, man, thank you for the support, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Mhm. Um, so Deb's Dig is asking me, uh, any car stuff planned for Heavy Metal Horizons. So for those of you that are not aware, I have a second YouTube channel called Heavy Metal Horizons, and I do car stuff and airplane stuff and a little bit of radio stuff. And then I occasionally like will interview old pilots and that kind of stuff. Um, so I'm always looking for, if somebody has an interesting car or something like that, I can check out the car, interview them about it, and that kind of stuff. And do I have any car stuff planned for Heavy Metal Horizons? Yeah, I do, but it's nothing that's going to be coming up real soon. So nothing imminent, I should say. Okay, guys. Carl, am I by a military base? Not really. No, I mean, Southern California. There's a lot of military bases, but I'm not really close to one. So I think actually what it is. I think they're flying from um, Point Magoo. I think they're flying from Point Magoo to March Field, maybe something like that. Okay, so okay, still at 211. Still at 211. That's okay. All right. Vox Guitars Rock. Thank you very much. Thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's see. What other questions do we have here? Do I like motorcycles? Yeah, I like motorcycles, but I don't ride them. I rode a little bit back in the day when I was in Washington, but I not in, not in, I don't know, 15, at least 15 years, a long time ago. So the another thing about the new album that I want to tell you about real quick is there will be, like, if you guys have been watching my channel for a long time, maybe you've seen some of my singles that I've released, like Death on the Iron Mountain or Storms on the Horizon, which I did with my buddy Deacon Lacrosse. Those songs will be on the album, but I'm not gonna really count those songs towards like contributing to the album, if that makes sense, because I don't want to, I have some older songs that have never properly been released, but I don't want like half of the new album to be previous released material, if that makes sense. So I will have some songs on there that have been released as singles before, or at least, and they weren't released as singles. I just mean like a YouTube video, because I did like a music video. But there's still going to be a full album's worth of brand new material on the album. So track number wise, it's going to be 12 or 13 tracks total, something like that. So I really want to, everybody, it's funny, like people used to do albums and then they did EPs, and then now it's just like, oh, just put out singles, nobody listens to albums anymore. But I really want this to be like, boom, a full collection of shred guitar music. I want this to be a full album that you can put on with headphones and just blast your brain with it and that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? All right. Okay, guys. Oh, did I ever get a tour at the Fender plant? No, I never did. That would be pretty cool. At one point, I went to the Fender headquarters in Hollywood, but that's just the offices, and it's not. I would love to see them like actually working on stuff. Oh, here's a good question from Set Fire to the Night Sky. Besides rock and metal, what other genres of music do you listen to or play? Any that would surprise people? I don't really play any other genres of music that I haven't done on my channel before. So as far as what I play, it's rock, metal. I attempt blues. People have mixed feelings on my blues playing. But as far as listening to other music, other genres, this is very specific, but I really like 80s electro funk. So if anybody is familiar with like Zapp and Roger or Roger Troutman, who did this really cool talk box stuff with the keyboard, he's dead, unfortunately. Like you know the song, California 11, and then it has that intro, California Love, that thing. It's not autotune. That's done with a talk box and a keyboard, and he's the guy doing it on that song. But he has this huge, back catalog of work from like the 80s. I really like that stuff. So like a lot of funk, I like a lot. Some of it has very little guitar, but killer bass parts and really cool keyboard stuff, that kind of thing. There's also some musicians that are still in the rock and metal genre, but they're not guitar players that I really like. An example is this guy named Vitali Kupri. I think that's how you say his name. Great keyboard player, pianist and keyboard player. And he played on like the Ring of Fire albums with Mark Bowles and stuff. And then he has also released many solo albums, and it's just like shredding keyboard stuff. I really like that. And of course, there's some great, fantastic drummers. Bobby Jarzenbeck. Yeah. So let's see other genres that I like. Sometimes I'm in the mood for like some just nice like folk music. Yeah. Harry Chapin, things like that. Yeah. A lot of that music is still pretty guitar driven. If it has good guitar, I like it. I mean, I love flamenco. Again, if it has good guitar, I like it. So, a lot of classical guitar music, flamenco, that's all great. And the other thing, the other side of that is that there's a lot of rock and metal that I don't like, right? I don't automatically like all metal bands. So, I don't know. It's tricky. If I really sat down for a long time and thought about it, maybe I could identify particular elements within music that I always love, no matter what the genre is. If this element is in there, then I'm gonna like it. But at this point, I don't know what that is. But I hope that answers your question, and it's a good question, and I appreciate that. All right, guys. So I'm gonna look again at the Kickstarter. 212. Boom. We got one more, guys. Everyone counts. Thank you so much. Awesome. Okay. Let's see here. What other questions do we have here? Yeah, Joe's asking, do I have any of my music on, I think, iTunes or SoundCloud? Yeah, all of the stuff that I've, like my solo releases are on iTunes, and also I have played in a band called Hellion. That's all on iTunes. Karma's a Bitch is the album that I was on with Hellion. But yeah, just, Maxwell Carlyle, iTunes, all that stuff. But again, like I was talking about earlier, at this point, the latest stuff is from like 2015, because the new album, Titanium Rain, like I said, it's my first new solo album in 7 years. So I'm really, I'm excited to release, I'm excited to finish this album and get it released to you guys and put out some new stuff there. But yeah, it'll eventually be on Apple, iTunes, Apple Music, all those places. Oh, this is a fun question. If you could put together a supergroup, who would the members be? Well, am I in the band? Or is this like a band that I would want to see and I'm not in the band? Right? So I'll pick the other members first. So for drums, I would say this Bobby Jarzembek. I can never pronounce his last name properly. He does this really cool thing where he hits cymbals behind him, like, great metal drummer, very technical. Let's put him on drums. Let's put Vitaly Kupri on keyboards, because I was just talking about him and he's incredible. And how about bass player? Victor Wooten on bass, because I think he's the greatest bass player ever. Joey DeMeo on bass would be cool, but he would probably want to run the band then, right? So I'll go with Victor Wooten. And then so I'm gonna put myself in the band, so I'll play guitar. And what about vocals? What a singer. Singers are so difficult, because I've got some favorite singers, but then I always associate them with the band they're in. So I don't know if this new band wouldn't, do I want it to sound like this other band that the singer is in, that kind of stuff? I'm not really sure. Singers is a really tough one. Yeah, the Steelheart guy, that'd be a good one. Let's see here. Let's see. I don't know. I'll think about it more and I'll get back to you on it. It's just going to be 5 minutes of me scratching my chin here trying to decide.
Just not Mark Bowles. Not Mark
Bowles. I really like Mark Bowles. Obviously he's done a lot of stuff. Did like 5 albums with Yngwie and Ring of Fire, which I love. And my wife, though, she doesn't like Mark Bowles.
He's too whiny.
And so I'm always like blasting like a Ring of Fire album, and she's like, "Is that Mark Bowles?" Yeah. So yeah, I'll have to come back to you on the singer and stuff. Well, let's see, what else do we have here? Okay. So, Max Levin, yeah, that would be cool. Max Levin is he was on an Yngwie album, but he was also on. Is it? What's the band? At Vance. At Vance. That was he. I think Matt Slevin did maybe 2 albums with At Vance. Those are really really good. Good stuff. Okay. So I'm gonna check the Kickstarter again. Okay. 212. All right, guys. Still holding strong at 212. I just want to say, guys, I cannot say how much I appreciate everybody, not just the people who are here on the live stream. I do appreciate you, but really just specifically everybody who's contributed to this Kickstarter. This means so much to me that not only are you willing to sit through all of my boring guitar videos, but you're actually going to put down your hard-earned cold cash, and you want an actual artistic creation from me. It's incredible. It's incredible, and it means so much to me, guys. It really does. As much as I love sitting at home and playing guitar on the internet, and I do love that, I love creating music even more than that. And that's saying something, because playing guitar on the internet is a lot of fun. Let's see. Okay. All right, guys. Hit me with some more questions. I'll tell you what. We're going to go. It's 6:38 right now. And I started at 5. Let's go to 7. This is Pacific time, right? So let's go for 20 more minutes, approximately. Hit me with some more questions. What else you got? This is your chance, okay? This is your chance. You know, what's the meaning of the universe? All this stuff, you know. Give me some real questions here, all right? Oh yeah, somebody's talking about King Diamond in here. A big King Diamond fan. So, you know, first time I heard I mean, I heard Merciful Fate first, and then I heard King Diamond, and it was I think it's an acquired taste, right? The first time I heard it, I was like, what's going on? You know, because I already liked Rob Halford, and when I first heard King Diamond, I'm like, he's trying to sound like Rob Halford, but it's not working. But then it's like you keep, you know, I kept coming back to it, and then I started listening to an entire King Diamond albums, and now I love King Diamond. And King Diamond was the last live show I saw before all the big, you know, everything shut down here in California back in 2020. Very fortunate, because that, like, it satisfied me for awesome metal live shows for quite a while. And then I think Dragon Force was the first new show that I saw when things, you know, when bands started to come back and that kind of stuff. Okay, what else we got? What else do we have here? So somebody's asking, Dave is asking, where did I meet my wife? So I met my wife. I met her, I like to say that I met her at an Iron Maiden show. And it's mostly true. But the backstory is I knew her brother first, and he was going to an Iron Maiden show. And make a long story short, he had an extra ticket, and he's like, "Hey, dude, want to come to the Iron Maiden show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so I went, and he had a sister, and I met her there. So I guess I met her on the way to the Iron Maiden show, and the rest is history. So yeah. And now we go to we've been to so many great metal shows together. And for a while, I was in an industrial metal band that she didn't really like. She didn't really care for this band. And so she went to the first few shows, and then she's like, oh, okay, I'm going to stay at home. But then, we still go to other shows together and that kind of stuff. And I'm not in the band anymore, so it all worked out. Yeah. All right. Okay. Oh, Joe's at, this is a fun question. If I was not a musician, what would I do for a living? What, like, what else would I like to be doing, right? So I have this problem. And this problem is that there are many, many, many things that I enjoy doing. So I never have the issue of like, oh man, I'm bored. What am I going to do today? Like, I never have that problem. My problem is I'm always like out of time to do all the things I want to do. I like, and there have been other things in the past that that I really got into, and I kind of sort of did professionally, and I was very happy doing it. But then I just kind of went into other things. Like I was a personal trainer back in the day, and I still love going to the gym and working out, and I would be very happy doing that as a career. A lot of you guys probably know I'm a private pilot, not a commercial pilot, but a private pilot right now at least. And of course, I love that. And so, I mean, I could, if I was not able or wasn't doing music for some reason, then that's a career that I would be happy to pursue. But there's like, I mean, I just, I like working with my hands. Way, way back in the day, I went to a technical college for auto mechanics. I like cars, so I like working on cars and things like that. So there's a lot of things I enjoy doing. I'm a little too easy to please, I guess, is the issue. So yeah, there's a few things right there that I could be doing, and I think I would be happy doing if I wasn't doing music. But I love playing guitar, so there we go. Oh, Gene is asking, where do we buy Guitar Max merch? I'd rock a hat or a tee. So I have Guitar Max merch. It's not a big, it's not exactly flying off the shelves. If you go to my Sellfy page, SELLFY.com, it's all through there. So basically, if you go to the link that's in the video description of most of my videos where I have my instructional programs, if you go to that link and you just look around there on the page, I've got t-shirts and stickers and that kind of stuff. Maybe I need to revamp it or something though, because like I said, it's not super popular, which is, kind of a bummer. Okay, let me answer some more questions. Another question here. Will I ever make videos that focus on basses or bass gear? Yeah, I'm going to do some of that stuff. I mean, I've done a few bass things here and there. And there is one thing, a video idea that I do want to do pretty soon. And that's to talk about some sort of like free recording like free plugins and that kind of stuff that people can get. And there's actually a bass one that I use a lot that I really like, and it's like free to download and that kind of stuff. And so I kind of want to do a video about that. Obviously, affordability and things that are good value and that kind of stuff. I mean, that's kind of my bread and butter on the channel. So I would love to do some more things like that, but more bass oriented. But in all honesty, I mean, the bass stuff, it's never going to be like a huge part of my channel, but it's, I want it to be, I want to do more bass stuff. Let's go with that. Let's see here. Okay, guys, let's do about another 15 minutes. How many flying V's can I bench press? Well, how much do they weigh? That's the question. I mean, mahogany, alder, what's the weight? The Review Shack is asking, how long does it take you to record an album? I don't know. I mean, ideally not very long, but these things always take longer than you would imagine. I'll tell you this. The struggle with recording an album is not, it's not a technical thing, right? It's not like, it's like, it doesn't take long in a technical sense to record the album. It's like, okay, how many different parts are there? How long are the parts? How much time would it take you to record all of the individual parts? Have to spend some time on the mixing, and then you could calculate it, right? And you come up with some number, and it's not going to be a big number. So it doesn't, like the execution of the recording does not take very long. But the creative process is what slows you down and is, I think, really the deciding factor in how long the album is going to take. And one of the problems, I think, with what's a good way to say it, solo projects and this kind of stuff, where it's kind of like one person who's doing the creative process, you're constantly like second guessing yourself, or you listen to something, you've been working on it all day, you listen to it late at night and it sounds incredible, and you listen to it the next morning and you hate it, right? Things like that happen all the time. So it's working through that creative process and working through your head to get to a finished product where you can be like, okay, yes, it's done. I'm gonna release it. That's, to me, what really decides how long the album is going to take. All that being said, I don't think this album, Titanium Rain, the upcoming album, I don't think it's going to take that long to do, because I already have a lot of ideas that I'm pretty stoked about, and also I've just been, I've been slowly working on a collaboration album with this guy named Dean Casciano, and I really feel like I got kind of into a rhythm of, no pun intended, of writing riffs and this kind of stuff and the arrangements. So I'm feeling pretty good about how all that stuff is going right now. So I don't think this album is going to take a super long time. Sometimes, if it takes a long time, sometimes that's a really bad sign. If you're really struggling to finish something, sometimes that's like, well, maybe the idea is just, you should scrap it and start over with something else. All right. So let's see here. Somebody's asking, do I write? I mean, they're kind of, I'm paraphrasing. They're asking, do I write on what instrument do I write on? Do I write on piano, guitar? I write on guitar. I guess sometimes I will, if there's like an intro or a slow intro part or something like that, or a middle section in a song, sometimes I'll sort of compose that like with a sequencer or something like that. But when it comes to melodies and riffs, I mean, that's all guitar based stuff. That's how I write. Let's see here. What else we got? Okay, guys, just a few more questions. Let's do 10 more minutes. And then I getting hungry. I don't know about you guys, I'm getting hungry. Are you guys hungry? Hit me with a few more questions, and I'm going to check the Kickstarter. Again, let's see how we're doing here. 213. One more. Yes, thank you, 213. Awesome. I love it. Okay. So Matthew uses he does his writing on a kazoo. Interesting. Hmm. Let's see. Oh, and yeah, and you just had pizza. I love pizza. I'm trying to, I'm trying to cut back on the pizza, but I do love pizza. Okay. Hmm. Andrew wants to know what's the nylon string guitar of choice? Right now, I don't have very many nylon string guitars. I do love the sound of nylon string guitars, though. I prefer the sound of nylon over a steel string acoustic. I have a Cordoba. I forget the model number. It's like a CE5 or CB5 or something like that. It's like a satin finish. I think it's a mahogany body. Uh, classical guitar, nylon string. Let's see here. Hmm. Tyler wants to know what's my favorite Kramer model. Well, the Voyager. I love a, I love the Kramer Voyager. The What else do we got here? Oh, that's a cool question. Okay, Brandon wants to know favorite scale to write with. Favorite scale. Well, uh, I mean, natural minor is probably my favorite scale, but in particular, when it comes to guitar, F sharp I really like because you can do that thing where you lift your first finger and you go down to the E, right? And then you get the open E. And it puts your hand in a really good position to play these different like inverted power chords and stuff like that, where the fifth is on the bottom and the root's on the top and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna say, I mean, you were just asking about the scale, not the key, but I'm gonna say F sharp natural minor. Okay. Yeah. Uh, Brandon, yeah, pentatonic blues for me. Yeah, the blues scale, different, of course, from the pentatonic scale, different by one note. But the blues scale is really cool. Have I ever? Yeah, actually, I know I have done. I did an instructional program where I did some 3 note per string blues scale shred patterns, which are really really cool. They're a little tricky because you repeat them in different octaves, and so there's a lot of shifting around to do. But because of the blues note, which is it's the flat 5, right? I think. Because you've got that extra note, you can get these 3 note per string patterns, which are really, really cool. Okay. Hmm. All right, guys. Let's do 5 more minutes, and then we'll hit 7 o'clock, and that'll be it. So last few questions. And again, guys, I really want to thank you. Let's reload the Kickstarter one more time. I really want to thank you guys for everybody who's been chipping into the Kickstarter. If you want to do it later, you got 61 hours. Okay, so not very long. It's like 2.5 days, right? It's Thursday is the last day, and after that, that's the end of it. Oh, favorite weird noise trick on guitar. Favorite weird noise trick. Oh, do I have? Oh, yes, I have it. Let me show you something really cool here. Hold on. Okay. I've got this thing, which is so cool. And nobody's familiar with. Well, no, I shouldn't say nobody, but look at this. So there's this metal fingertip thing that I have. Here, hold on. I'm gonna plug this in. Now, guys, I'm gonna plug in a guitar here. This is not set up for proper guitar playing on here. This is just a room mic here. So this is not gonna sound very good. But I'll see if I can do it here. So hold on a second here. I'm gonna use my ear through the Fender GTX 100. So check this out. I bought this metal fingertip off of a guitar player named Mike Guerrero. He is also known as the Tapping Ninja. I briefly played in a band called Death Riders with him. Fun thrash band. And he sold these things, and he would use these, and they create this weirdest sound. So the idea with the metal fingertip, right, is this becomes the fret in a way. You slide it on the string, and you also can rake it across the strings. So hold on, let me see if this sound is going to work here. You guys hear that? Okay. So you put this thing on your finger, and you can tap with it or whatever. But you can also do these weird slides and stuff. Pretty weird. So that is probably my favorite weird guitar noise thing right there. I mean, obviously, I like a lot of the whammy stuff too, and that kind of thing. Like, there's one thing I like to do. I don't have it on this guitar, but there's this one thing I like to do where you do two harmonics at the same time, like around the 4th fret. So you hit two harmonics, and then you do the bar, down and up and this kind of stuff. And the pitches of those two harmonics, they don't bend, or like they don't bend at the same rate or something like that. So you get these really weird, just the way the two different pitches of the harmonics interact creates these really, really weird sounds and that kind of stuff. Actually, let me see if I can do that here. Yeah, okay, I'll do my George Lynch here. See if I can get this going. Okay, so I'll talk about this. This is my other favorite weird guitar sound. So I like to do this over the neck usually, and you do like those two. That's the 4th fret harmonics on the G and the B. And you get them to come out together. That kind of stuff. It's just when you have two harmonics at the same time, and then you bend them with the bar, it just creates this very weird, like kind of multi-layered sound and that kind of thing. That stuff is always fun. Yeah. That's also the Ross the Boss bend he used to do on the old Manowar albums. Like it's the horse sound, like the horse neigh, right? Like yeah. Anyway, fun stuff. Okay. Oh, it's 7:02, guys. We're going late here. Okay. Okay, anyway, I hope you guys could hear that okay, because like I said, this is not set up for actually, I don't have a direct audio input or anything on this. All right, let me check one last thing. If there's any other burning questions here, and I'm going to check one more time on the Kickstarter. 213. Okay, guys, thanks a ton. Thank you so much for not only getting involved on the Kickstarter, but everybody who's been, on the live stream here and asking me questions and hanging out and this kind of thing. I like doing these live streams. I like hanging out with you guys. It's a lot of fun, and thank you so much for tuning in and doing it. So we've gone for 2 hours here. I think we're pretty much at the end. If there's any last minute questions you guys want to throw out, go ahead. But again, I'm going to have, if you don't know already, the link to the Kickstarter is below in the video description. And of course, the album is called Titanium Rain. If you don't follow the link or anything like that, just Google Max Carlisle Titanium Rain Kickstarter and you'll find it there. And it's only going for like 2 more days basically, and then it's done with. So if you want to get involved on the album, again, the thing I would really love is, I want to do a lot of copies of the album. And so if you get that $20 level, the $20 tier, it's the physical copy of the album. You get 2 4x6 cards that I autograph, and you get guitar picks, and of course you get the digital download. That's the $20 level. And I would love to get just like a bunch of people in at that level. And of course, a huge thanks to the people who have signed up at the higher levels, because that really makes a big difference in getting those numbers up, and I really, really appreciate that. So guys, a couple more days to get involved in that. And again, the video or not the video, the album that you're going to get by signing up on the Kickstarter is going to be a Kickstarter exclusive version of the album, like the packaging and everything, okay? 2 more days to get involved. All right, guys, that is it. I'm going to go ahead and say bye, you guys. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with me on here. It's been a ton of fun, and thank you so much for the people who've gotten involved in the Kickstarter and the album so far. I'm really looking forward to getting it all finished and just bringing it to you guys and sharing the new music with everybody. Yeah, thanks a ton, guys, and I will see you soon. I've got a new video coming out, I think, towards the end of this week, and yeah, it's gonna be great. All right, thanks a ton, guys. I will talk to you soon.